to answer all of your unique questions. So that's what we'll be doing. So that's the main reason to be on VIP is you're able to keep the trainings and then interact with me direct. Okay, so what's going to happen? I have one promise for you this week. One promise, and that's a breakthrough around what fat loss as we age can do for you. So I want you to have a breakthrough moment so this can help shift things for you. That's my promise to you. Who's excited about that? If you're on Zoom, raise your hand. If you're on the comments on Facebook, tell me that you are excited, because that's why we're here, to have a breakthrough around this. Now, what my request is from you is to give these sessions your undivided attention. That means do everything in your power to not be distracted. Print out the worksheet if you can. Have a notepad and pen or pencil nearby. Have your water so you don't have to get up. But really give this time to you to fully pay attention and to engage with us here so we can give you that breakthrough, so I can help move you along into a great place. The handouts that we created, the worksheet, you can work directly from here or work just with it. But each day we have a separate worksheet journal for you like this. And to get the most out of this, do the journal with it. Write things down, take notes, answer the questions that I ask. You're going to want to refer back to this. This becomes your Bible of fat loss throughout this week. So you want to print that out. If you're on Zoom right now, if you're in my VIP, what I want you to know is I've got a team monitoring the comments while we're on. When we end the session and I end, you're going to stay on. We'll stop recording, and I'm going to be just interacting with you for any additional questions that we don't pull out throughout the trainings. I may interact with you during the trainings if I think your questions that you're typing here are going to help the whole team. But you don't have to worry about me pulling you necessarily on camera here. We'll stop the recording to do that for VIP after. So what's the agenda for this week? Well, we're going to dive into fat loss as we age, but we're going to start today with a really important topic: how to get and stay motivated. And my goal is to give you some really tangible things that are going to surpass willpower, that are going to surpass when you feel like I just don't feel like it. That's going to help you with that big question I get all the time: what do I do when I'm just not feeling it or I'm just not motivated? We're going to do this part first because it's the part that we skip so many times in programs. And by conquering this part first, I set you up to really win when we get into day 2, which is going to be deeper into nutrition. And then even more so for day 3, which is movement and pain. Who's excited? Who's excited about this? Okay, awesome. All right. So this is a conversation. I want you to look at it as it's a conversation with you and me. I want you to be really real when I ask you some questions. You're going to write them down for yourself. But the more real you can be with me, the more I'm going to be able to help you. So can I get you to all agree first that if goals were super easy to accomplish, that we wouldn't need to be here? Who's in alignment with that? If goals were super easy to accomplish, we wouldn't need to be here, would we? Yeah. So they're not always super easy to accomplish. But when I give you a method, we're going to start to unpack that. Can we also agree that if it was just easy to do everything we were told, we would already have results, right? We'd already have results. We all have seen the what to do, but things go beyond that. And just because you're here, I'm going to acknowledge you for taking action, because it's a first step. You did something that I always say comes first, and that's that you decided. You fully decided to take action. What I want you to think about first is that your best thinking, everything you know right now, got you to right here, right now, today. Everything you've thought about yourself, what you've thought about nutrition, your weight loss journey, your age, your best thinking got you to right here, right now, today. So the reason I mentioned earlier is I want you to have a really open mind when we start this here, is because I'm going to be introducing some concepts that you're going to say, yeah, I don't know if I like that, or that sounds different than something I learned before, or I don't know if that's possible, Natalie. And I want you to remember that your best thoughts, all of your thoughts got you to right now, right here today, in a place where you want to have change. You're craving that change. So if you hear me on that and you're ready to step into a new version of yourself, I would love if you're on Zoom, you can type it here. If you're on Facebook, type it in the comments, but I want you to write ready to shift, or even just the word shift. Tell me that you're ready to shift. And by saying that, what you're saying to me is I'm acknowledging that my best thinking got me to right here, right now, today, and I'm feeling a little stuck. And I want to break through this. So I want to hear I'm ready to shift. Yeah, ready to shift. Cool. And I love that I can see all your faces on VIP right now, and you're actually typing. So thank you. But ready to shift. I'm going to get you moving a lot during this too, because believe it or not, finger moving can burn calories too. Just kidding. No, I want you moving because I want to keep you staying engaged and alert. And I'm going to give you some gems and I want them to sink in. Okay. We're going to start right now with an exercise, and I call it the mirror, because one of the first things that happens when we say we want to lose weight or change is we don't always want to take an inventory of where we are right now today. What tends to happen, and I've been doing this for a long time, is we go back to comparing who I was 10 years ago, who I was 20 years ago, or what my friend's doing, or what somebody on social media is doing. But I'm going to ask you today, right now, and this is not public for me. You're going to write this on your paper or in your journal that you've printed. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to write truthfully where you stand on these things. So for example, I'm going to say things like, do you feel a little overweight? And you would write down, yes, I feel overweight. And I'm doing this not to make you feel bad, because I know this first exercise has a tendency to make you boil up those feelings. I'm doing it because we've got to start with a little bit of mirror of where you're starting from. These are personal for you, but I'm going to ask you these questions, okay? Let's start with that one. Are you feeling a little overweight? Write it down if you are. You don't have to write it in the comments or the Facebook group. Just write it down yourself. Okay. Are you feeling a little low on energy? Or if it's more extreme, maybe exhausted, I want you to write that down. And you would write that as, I feel exhausted, or I feel low on energy. My next question for you, do you feel it's too late? Meaning, do you feel that your age is in the way for you right now? And that would show up as, I feel too old. If these questions don't resonate, you don't have to include them. But when I say that, things like, and I hear this a lot, and that's why I asked this question, things like, I'm 55 and I just think I'm supposed to feel bad. So if you feel that that's related to your age at all, I want you to write that down. That I've been feeling like my age, whatever that is, 56, 45, 60, I'm feeling this. The next question is, do you feel like you're making excuses? And if you feel like you're making excuses, write down that number one excuse. If I were to make an excuse personally, I would probably say my age or injuries. That would be my thing. So maybe it's your autoimmune. Maybe it's menopause, perimenopause. Maybe it's your husband you're mad at. But write it down. Are you making an excuse? Do you feel that you've lost confidence? And write that down as, I feel like I've lost confidence. This question's an important one. Do you feel like you're hiding from how you really feel? From how you really feel. That shows up a lot of times with the wearing all black, or wearing the really baggy clothes, or putting on the smile face when you don't really feel like it. Are you hiding that? This question, I don't know, this one always resonates with me. Do you feel like you're living in the past? And what that means is, are you comparing to, gosh, when I was 20, or when I was a cheerleader, or back in college, Do you feel like you live in the past? Do you feel like you're hiding the truth somehow? The truth. And that shows up in like, I'm eating foods that I don't want people to know I'm eating, or I'm not telling people that I actually feel sad. Have you lost motivation? And say that as I feel like I've lost motivation. And then, are you unhappy in any relationships? And if you are, list those. And that would be like, I'm unhappy with my relationship with my daughter, or I'm unhappy with that I don't have a relationship with a man, or I'm unhappy in my marriage. Remember, these are just private for you. Nobody else is going to see these right now. Be honest on this. Now I'm gonna continue on, but I want every exercise I take you through today, I'm gonna encourage you that after the call, sometime before the next workshop session, that you go back and you finish some of these, because I want to get it all out here, because that's how we play with that mirror. Now at the very bottom of that list, I want you to write starting point. Now, here's what I want you to know. All those things you're feeling, those are your true feelings, but those are not you. They are not you. They are not who you are. They are your feelings. And there's a really great way to navigate feelings. And it's one of those things I'm going to walk you through today, because feelings are real. They're very important, but that is not who you are. It is not who you are. Now, I want to show you something before we go on, because I know some of you are new to my world over here. Some of you are not. So I'm Natalie Jill. I think you guys have figured that out. I am 49 years old. And I didn't even step into the fat loss fitness space until my mid-30s, just to give you an idea. Now, I'm going to show you a picture. And this is all very relevant to what I'm going to teach you today. And that's why I'm showing this to you. Can you see this picture? Okay, this was me at 35 years old. And I just had my daughter. Now, yes, I just had a baby. I'm not acting like I didn't. Some of you have seen this picture on social media. But what I want you to know is I'm 5'2". And this girl here was a completely different person than who I am today. I was 5'2", and I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now. My daughter weighed 6 pounds, for a little perspective. It was not just from having a baby. I was eating McDonald's every day. I'm going to be real. I was eating French fries. I was eating hot fudge sundae, extra fudge sundae from the drive-thru. What was going on in my world here, this is back in 2000, 2007, 2008. Most of you remember that. It was a really crazy time here, especially in the US. Housing market had crashed. The financial market had changed. I just had a baby, so I had all the hormone things going on. I gained the weight. I was also going through a divorce, and I was losing my house all at the same time. Now, at the time I was in corporate America, I wasn't in fitness, fat loss, any of those things. And I felt every one of those questions that I just asked you. And that's why I started with those questions. I felt like I was too old at that age. I felt that I was supposed to be putting on an act for other people, but I felt depressed. I felt like I lost confidence. I felt like a loser, quite honestly. I was scared. I was broke. I was lonely. And the biggest reason I was lonely is because I felt like I was living a fake life. And I know some of you can relate to this, where you feel you're putting on this show for other people, but inside you just don't feel good about yourself. So I didn't feel I could talk to anybody about it. And I had a really massive turning point for me. And this idea that got me out of my turning point is what the method is that I'm going to start to tap into today with you and show you what I did to get out of there. Now, you listening right now, you might not be where I was. You might not be. I was $1.4 million in debt, by the way. I mean, how's that even possible? I'll tell you how it's possible. It's possible because I did the responsible thing and bought a house, put money down, and the housing market changed and I was getting a divorce. And next thing you know, I was backwards and I had to make a hard decision to stop paying my mortgage. And I don't have to go down all the sob details, but long story short, my credit cards were canceled. I had nothing. And that fall was hard. And I remember looking at people that literally had nothing, homeless on the street, thinking they had a better life than me right then, because I felt like at least they don't have this weight on top of them, the debt, all of this pressure on top of them, all this loss right now. I was depressed. And you might not be there, but this method is what walked me out of this, and it's what I'm going to walk you through. So this person here, not in fitness, not in fat loss, feeling in self beat up, all of those things. It took about 4 months of me feeling that way for me to have a moment with myself when I was walking my daughter, my baby, and my dogs. And I looked in a mirror. Oh, it was not a mirror. It was a window that had a mirror reflection. And I had this moment with myself where I knew that that's not who I was supposed to be. And I know some of you might have had those moments. And if you haven't yet, I'm hoping that it's today, because it's not who you're supposed to be, all those things that you just wrote that you're feeling. There's more for you. And I went home, and just like you have those questions of how, I had those questions of how, but I was so sad. I just wanted to get myself out of the sad. So I sat there and I thought, what did I used to tell people when I was in corporate America? By the way, I worked in corporate America as a sales trainer, believe it or not. And I used to help people with their goals all the time, but I felt so miserable. I couldn't even remember. And I thought, what did I used to do for those people? I said, I would get them thinking about what they wanted, what their vision was. And I asked myself, what do I want? And I had no idea. I just thought, I just want to be happy. I don't want to be this. Can you relate when I ask that question? What do you want? When I say, what do you want? So many times when I say, what do you want? The person I ask says, I don't know. I just don't want to feel this. I don't want to feel this. So at the time, Oprah was really big on TV, and I remember watching it, and I saw something about The Secret, and I heard about vision board. Anyone hear of a vision board? Right? And I thought it was kind of wonky at first. Like, what is that? What's a vision board? But I had nothing to lose. I felt depressed. And I said, you know what? I'm going to make a vision board. So I pulled out images, things that lit me up, that made me happy, that made me smile a little bit. I put girls on there with abs, with fit girls. I put happy couples. I put a beach. I put lots of things that just made me happy. And something I noticed in that moment was, wow, I had a spark of dreaming. I had a spark of hope. So I realized in that moment that I had to do for myself what I had done for my clients in corporate and what I'm about to do for you. I had to get myself thinking forward in vision. Instead of what's wrong with me right now, today, why am I sitting in this? What did I actually want and how could I get there? So I'm going to start asking you those questions in just a moment, and I'm going to lead you through it and help you start this. But here's what I want you to know. Your body does not know the difference between a thought and what actually is reality. And if I can get you thinking towards your vision, we're going to start to have a lot of changes. Okay, do you hear me on this? Okay, if you at all right now are going, Natalie, you sound wonky, I don't like this, where's this going? I'm going to remind you at the beginning of this session, I said, your thoughts have gotten you to right now, right here today. So trust me on this, trust the process here. I'm going to help walk you out of this. By the way, what I didn't share with you before we started this, and I'm about to take you through those questions, is I typically don't do these sessions like I'm doing for you right now. And many of you that have known me for years, you know I've never done a free workshop for a week or a low price VIP session like this. I'm doing this because I think it's important to get this out to the masses. Typically, the way people work with me is in my Total Body Thrive program. And I still do those. And I'm just being transparent. I have that starting in June. I have a full 8-week Total Body Thrive program starting. But I thought before we go there, I'm going to take the masses, whoever is interested in this, whoever's been asking me, through a general process here. So I want you to know that you're special and I'm helping you with this. And I'm truly helping you with this because I want to, and I know there's more for you. I know there's more for you. So on that journal or on a separate blank piece of paper, start a new page here. I'm going to ask you some questions now to get you forward thinking into that future. We started with where are you in your life right now, but I want to take you to where do you want to go? Where do you actually want to go? And I'm going to prompt you with some things. And this is one of those things I'm going to prompt you with it now and get you thinking in this direction so I can give you some tools. But I also want you to spend time later going back through this and elaborating on it. Okay, do I have your commitment that we're going to go back through that later and elaborate on it? Do you remember back in the day before we had cell phones? Oh my gosh, seems ancient now. But we would go on an airplane. We didn't have anything electronic. We would go back into those, we'd been on an airplane and you would just stare out the window and just kind of daydream into nothing. Do you remember those days? And it was nice. That's where I want to get you back right now because those days have been gone, but we're going to spend some time right now dreaming a little bit. Where do you want to be? I want you to write that. Now, don't edit yourself. Don't edit with, but I can't. Where do you want to be? Now, I'm going to say some words, and if they resonate, drop them down on your, write them down. If they don't, write your own thing, but I'm going to give you some words that will help prompt us. Do you want to feel confident? Is that something? Do you want to feel sexy? Do you want to feel like you have energy? Attractive? Motivated? Like you're in control? Stylish, maybe? Youthful? Like you're enough? Like you have more energy? And I realize I'm asking you these questions quick on a training session because I'm cramming a lot in for you. But this is, I think you're starting to pick up on the importance of why I want you to elaborate on this later. What do you want your day to look like? Do you want to be dragging yourself out of bed with the alarm and your bags under your eyes? I don't think so. So what do you want your day to look like? What do you want? Now, I know when you wrote that, you're writing this list right now, what comes up if you're where I was those years ago, it's very hard not to edit yourself. It's very hard to say, but. I want this, but it hasn't worked. But I want you to just for a moment, just imagine that it was actually possible. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel better than that first list? If it was possible? What's so interesting is most people operate from circumstance. They operate from what is wrong. I'm overweight. I have to fix this. What is wrong with me? I have to beat myself up at the gym. We operate from what's wrong. But the way success works is operating from a vision, operating from future. You see, if you can operate from the person you want to become, it becomes a lot easier to step into that person. I shared a little while ago about my vision board exercise that I had done those years ago. When I couldn't feel good myself, I would look at that vision board and I would say, if I was the girl living in that board, if I was the girl on that board that's fit and happy, what would I be doing today? And I forced myself to make decisions from that place, from the place of my future self. And when we can force that, I call it forcing the vision, that's when things start to change. Now I'm going to give you some some more tactics here, but I just want to show you something so you can know that this is not just me that this type of thing works for. So this was my friend, Nicole, that I met a little while back. Okay, this was Nicole, beautiful Nicole. She was overweight, unhealthy overweight, beautiful. And when I met her, she was where a lot of you are right now, feeling like she felt like she had tried everything. Something's wrong with her hormones, like just had the whole list of what's wrong. And she was always operating from beating herself up. She had listed and tried every single diet plan out there. And when I worked with her, I asked her, Nicole, what would you actually want? I know what's wrong. I'm hearing all the things that are wrong, but what do you actually want? And I had her really get clear with what she wanted. And she described to me that she wanted to not be the girl that everyone said, look at the beautiful girl, beautiful face that's overweight. She didn't want to be the overweight, pretty face girl. And I said, well, what does that look like? What is that? And she said, well, I picture myself really confident. And I picture myself, she got very detailed, wearing a really fitted red dress, walking into a room and heads turn. I feel confident, so confident that I can't wait to get up every morning and put a cute outfit on. I can't wait to go do my job and actually like work with clients. I'm not in my head about my confidence or what's wrong with me. She described what she wanted. Once we got laser clear there and we walked through these other steps I'm going to show you, the nutrition, the workouts became so easy for her because she was so clear on where she was headed. And I just want to show you that a year later, this is her now. She became her vision. She operated from her vision. It's wild. Not because she just made a vision board and it was woo-woo, but she got clear on her vision and then she took the actions as this person would make even when she was here. So I want to get you operating from your vision, and we're going to start with one quick thing. In the comments right here, on whether you're on VIP with me on Zoom or you're on Facebook, I want you to write, I feel amazing. Just write it. I feel amazing. Yeah, I love it. Val, I feel amazing. Emma, I feel amazing. Vonda, I feel amazing. Patsy, I feel amazing. Yes, we're going to operate from there. So when you, and I like that, somebody, Latoya wrote it in all caps. I love it. Rebecca, all caps. Yes, I feel amazing. I mean, doesn't that feel better to say that? So what do we do when we know that we need to be in that mindset, but we're not feeling it? We've got to force that vision. We've got to stay focused on the vision, what we're headed after, what we want to create, and stay focused there. Now, a little trick that I use, and I have you writing, I feel amazing, is I don't love saying I am. And let me tell you why. When you say things like, I am thin and toned, I am wealthy, I am, if we don't actually believe it, we dismiss it and discount it before it actually becomes a thing. But when we operate from either I feel or I am becoming the type of person who, it's a way to trick things. So from this moment on, I want you to commit that you're not going to say I'm overweight or I'm depressed or I'm any of these things, but instead I'm becoming the type of person who or I feel. Can we commit to that? Yes. Okay. Put your hand up on Zoom. If you're on my VIP on Zoom, yes, I commit to that. I'm becoming the type of person who. And we're going to say it so many times that we literally trick our brain to believing it. And you will operate from that. Everyone knows someone in their life that is very vision focused. We don't know a lot of people, but we all know that person that talks about their vision as it's going to happen. And it happens. That's what I want you doing with your health and your body right now. We're going to get really clear on that. Okay, so I promise taking you through steps. Step one is making a decision, which you all started that with being here. You decided this is the time I'm going to make a change. Step two is we have to come up and be clear on what do we want and why. That's our vision. And I started to walk you through that. What do I want and why? But how do we keep you there? How do we keep you into what do I want and why and getting you to stay there? How do we do that? Well, we get clear on what getting us there is going to feel like. And this is the real reason why. Now, when in Total Body Thrive, my 8-week program, we go deep into something I call a driving core motivator. And your driving core motivator is your secret weapon. It's your real specific reason why you want something. And when we nail that, there is no break from willpower or motivation. It just works because you're so clear on your driving core motivator. You are so clear. My driving core motivator, back when I went through my transformation initially, was honestly, I wanted to be able to show up and be a good mom for my daughter. And that was enough to make me want to get out of what I was feeling. That was my driving core motivator. My driving core motivator now, I would have to say, is actually you all. Because as I've created a business and I have books and all these things helping with fat loss, if I don't take care of myself and make it a priority, how am I going to help others? I won't be here for others. My dad died at age 49, not taking care of himself. I'm 49 years old. If I don't take care of myself, I can't help others. Driving core motivator is something we work through in Total Body Thrive, but we're going to do a little shortcut version here right now with you. And I just want you to start writing, and I've got a space in the journal for this. Why do you want what it is that you want? Why? And I'll prompt you with a few things. Is it because you want to feel more confident, more courageous? What is it? I'll give you a moment just to write that. Why do I want this? Why do I want it? I see everyone writing. That's great. Okay. And this will get fine-tuned over time, by the way, but it's important for you to recognize, why do I want something? Versus just, because the more I go deep on that with clients, I'll notice a lot. Sometimes we just think we want something because we're told we're supposed to want it, but it doesn't really resonate with us. And then it makes it very hard to stick to something. So it's important to go through that exercise. So why do I want it? So the first steps in getting and staying motivated, it's really simple, but it's not simple. It's number one, making a decision. I decide that this is the year that I lose 20 pounds. I decide this is the year I get healthy. I decide that this is the year this is happening. It's a decision. I have countless people I've worked with that had to make a decision around this. And let me just show you, I'm going to show you another thing here. So this is Jim Walters, because I do help men too. When I met him, this was Jim. And anyone that met Jim, or Jim himself would have told you, he would have said, genetically, this is me. And he had a list of everything. He had type 2 diabetes. He had a list of everything wrong: injuries, type 2 diabetes, his age. He felt he was genetically like this, everything. Jim will tell you that I helped him. And he'll say great things about the nutrition I taught him and all the things. But if you ask him, what did Natalie actually help you with? He would tell you, she got me to decide. She got me to decide. And this is Jim now. Now, what's so crazy is when people see Jim now, he laughs because they say, oh, that's just genetics. It was genetics here and there, I guess. But the difference between Jim here and here is a decision. It's a decision. So you make a decision. After you make that decision, step 2 is you declare it. You declare it. So you started to do it by joining in here. You did it in the comments. If you haven't done it yet, you can write it. I decide. But you make a decision that it's happening. So I decide today on the journal right here. I want you to write, or write it on paper if you're not using the journal. It says, I decide. I want you to write what it is that you're deciding. What is it that you're deciding? Now, a decision is a little bit different than a declaration. So a decision is deciding it to yourself. A declaration is putting it out there and saying a by when. So what I'm also going to ask you to do after that decision is, what's your declaration? What's your by when? What's your by when? I declare by August, I'm going to have lost 20 pounds. Is that what it is? But write it down. I declare I'm done messing around and I'm losing this weight. I'm releasing it for good. What is reasonable? Melissa's asking on Zoom. Melissa, so when it comes to weight loss, and I'm going to get so much more into this tomorrow when we dive more into nutrition. Typically, what is very reasonable when you're following a healthy plan, and what I'm going to teach you tomorrow how to eat, is typically about 5 pounds week 1, because you're losing fat and water, excess water and bloat, and then 2 pounds of fat each week to follow. So a really great number to work off of is about 10 pounds a month. Is very, very realistic and healthy. About 10 pounds a month. If you have a lot of weight to lose, so let's say you're 100 pounds overweight, it could be a little bit more, but it's not realistic when you hear somebody losing 20 pounds in a week. That is water, that is muscle, that is a lot of stuff. So I would say, to play it safe, 10 pounds a month is very realistic. Very realistic. Most people, when they come into my Total Body Thrive, lose 20 pounds because it's over 8 weeks. That's the average that we'll see in there. And week 1 is typically 5 to 7 pounds because we've made so many changes. So you usually get a really big bump right away. And then it averages out to about 2 pounds of fat per week. So write that out. I declare. And then, even though we went through these a little bit earlier, a little bit more detailed, I want you to actually write it a little bit more concise for you right here, just so it's just one simple thing that you can look at, because I'm going to refer back to these throughout this workshop. What do I want? And usually that boils down to just a sentence or even a word. Like confidence is one that comes up a lot. To feel loved, that comes up a lot. To not be lonely. To feel connected. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many women in Total Body Thrive, we get to their DCM and it's to feel connected. They want to feel connected. They want to feel they have real friends and connected. And what comes up is we're following around this. Is there anybody on VIP right now, because I can see you, that is stuck on what do I want and why? Is there anyone that's stuck on that? Just raise your hand if you're, I want to help you with that if you're feeling that. Okay. Patsy, are you raising your hand? You are? You raising your hand? Can I bring you on, Patsy? Is it okay? Okay. Go ahead and unmute, Patsy.
Hi.
Hi. Patsy, so talk to me. What's going on?
I think I am. So going through Thrive and Elite and just my whole journey, I think I'm declaring to keep it simple and lose the 20 pounds by August, because that makes sense. And why do I want it? So I have to, what do I want? What do I want? I'm kind of stuck on that.
Well, let's start with what is wrong right now? Like when you did that list at the beginning and you said the things that you were feeling, what do you not love right now?
Gosh, everything on there. Being overweight, not not declaring and deciding, even though I know that this whole program works because I've seen everybody else go through that journey and is excited about it.
Well, let's go down this. And if anyone listening right now is struggling with this is going to help support you here too as well. So when you say I'm struggling, I'm over, I want to lose the weight. What does having the excess weight create in your life right now? What's happening with that? What does that hinder you from doing? What is that creating? And Sophie, if you're on, if you can help pin Patsy, I don't want to mess anything up here, just so we can see her and me together. What does that create in your life when you're feeling that?
So would it be like, how do I feel?
Yeah. How do you feel when that's that?
It makes me sad that I know that's not who I am, and like, this is the way I'm going to be. Even though I'm 60, but even though I don't act, I just feel like this is it. And that's the, what's the word? What's the term? It's called, beating myself up. I'll just tend to beat myself up in my head and excuse my French, it's F it and tomorrow or the next day or whatever. And obviously it's been over 8 weeks and nothing's happened. And it's the same vicious circle that I've definitely chosen to do, which I know is not true.
Okay. So what I'm hearing when you're saying a lot of this is you're stuck in all the things that, the reasons why something's not possible still. Do you hear that a little bit? Like, I try all these things. I know that it's supposed to happen. I see other people, I know things work, but for me, it's not working. So I hear a lot of that. So the opposite of that would be what? If it wasn't you and someone was telling you this, what would the opposite of those things be?
Oh, what's the question again?
What would the opposite of those feelings be? If you, I can help you with that. Like, I heard you say, like, you would feel like weight loss is effortless for you.
Yeah. So weight loss is effortless. I am confident. I am strong. I am peaceful.
I'm becoming the type of person who is.
Yeah.
Those things.
I'm becoming the type of person who has the energy. I am attractive. I am sexy.
Okay. So you do know what you want. You just aren't putting it together at that, because you just rattled off a bunch of things. So what you want is to feel confident, to feel sexy, to feel attractive, to feel beautiful. So see, none of those said, I don't want to have the weight. You're speaking into what you want. So when I ask you, like, what do I want? What do I want? What I want you all to make sure you're not doing is saying what I don't want. It's instead what I actually want. So you do know what you want, Patsy. We're just not focused on it. So what I would love for you to do is write those things down. I want to feel beautiful. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel all these things. You do know what you want. Okay.
All right.
Okay. You got it. Thank you.
I can't type anything. They won't let me.
Okay. Do you want to share?
Well, I mean, I just couldn't contribute when I wanted to. It's okay.
Awesome. Okay.
Don't want you to share that I'm, not being a part of it.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Okay. Now I heard somebody say, I want to share. So who was that? Go ahead.
Lori.
Hi, Lori. Go ahead. And are you okay sharing? Yeah. I would love to hear from you.
Yeah, I am. I just turned 60 and that was really hard.
Yeah.
And just broke up from a relationship, nothing to do with the weight kind of thing. But it's always been in my tummy, always. And I'm kind of a broad-shouldered 5'6" gal and small hips, but I've just got a lot, about 15 pounds to lose.
Okay.
And I just kind of feel disgusted with myself.
Yeah, I get that. So Lori, did you write all those things down when I asked? Okay, awesome. So tell me the opposite of that. If that was different, because first of all, do you believe that someone else at 60 can be different than how you're feeling right now? Do you believe that's a possibility?
I do, but I think it's going to take a lot more work.
Okay.
And I need to get my ass out walking. I work full time. I have a big job, so I need to walk after work. I usually go to work very early in the morning.
So Lori, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you for a minute, because this is what we do. When we think about what we want, we as women tend to write all the reasons why it's just going to be a lot more work for us. I need to walk more.
You just hit it.
Yes, I need to do more. So I want you to go and play with me for a minute and not do that. I want you to imagine that is not true. I'm going to give you
Okay.
the tools to walk through this. Okay. But I want you, when I ask on this paper, what do I want? I want you to write what you want without editing it because you think you can't, it's not possible.
Okay.
Okay. Can you do that for me?
I want to come home from work and walk for at least an hour.
Nope. I don't
And
even want you to say that yet. I don't even want you to go to the house. No house. So I want you to go to, what do you actually want in your life? You want to
Okay.
feel what?
I want to feel like I'm losing weight and I'm stronger.
Yes,
I
we're
have-
good. Okay.
I have bone on my left shoulder. I want to get my arms in shape, but I don't
Okay.
know how with the
Okay,
bone
but you're
on
doing it
bone.
again. Lori, you're doing it again. You're
I
giving me
know,
that.
but it's the reality.
I know, but no, it's not. I'm going to help you with this. This is what we're going to really
Okay.
walk through tomorrow. Okay, so what I want you to do, you don't have to do it right now with us. On this journal, I want you to write what I want without all this reality popping up. Stop that.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, I want you to
Okay,
stop
I
it.
will.
Okay, committed?
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I know you all. I know women. I know I work with so many of you. I know what we do. So that is very common that we start saying, what do we want? But we start editing why it's not possible. And when you do that, what I want you to be aware of is we start focusing on the wrong thing. And what you focus on, you create more of. What you focus on, you create more of, you attract more of, you make habits that do more of. We have an average of 60,000 thoughts a day. It's true. 60,000 thoughts a day pop in our head. And most of them are not positive and supportive and wanting to help us. Most of them are saying things to us like Lori just said. Oh, but this. Oh, but this. Or you're too old. You're too late. It's too this, too that. That's what those thoughts do. So we've got to create a massive interruption around that first, because no matter what I give you with nutrition or workouts, if we don't get this part first, it doesn't stick. Do you hear me on this? Do you hear me? There's a million plans out there, and I know this. Some of you hate when I take you through this step first. I got it. But I'm standing for you because I know what's possible for all of you. And I want to interrupt a lot of the weight loss industry that doesn't take this part seriously, because this part is everything. It's everything. I'm going to get in, I'm doing something like I've never done before. Usually I take the people through an 8-week process. I'm still going to be doing that in June. However, right now, I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this. So I understand that what I'm sharing with you today, I'm just having a conversation, but some of you are quick starts and you're getting it. This is some work you're going to have to go deeper on your own too. But we've got to start interrupting where our brain is going and what those thoughts are that we're thinking. Because if we believe that we're somehow different, it's not possible for us, we will keep repeating that. It doesn't matter what program you do, what drink you buy, whatever, it's going to keep repeating. So you have to interrupt it. What changed my life was getting into this vision aspect. Nothing was handed to me. I didn't get lucky. Nothing happened. I was in the worst place of my life. And this is what got me out of it. Some of you are very new to me. Some of you have been with me in my program. Some of you have been following me on social media. Many of you know, some of you don't know, that I had some major injuries last year. I'm 49 years old. I had some major freak accidents, injuries. I tore my bicep. I ruptured a disc in my back. I had a lot of things happen. And I started going down a doomsday path of maybe I'm too old, maybe it's too, all the stuff. What got me out of it was not just changing my nutrition and my workouts and my supplements. Yes, I did some of that. What got me out of it was changing my focus first. Did I want to buy the stuff, the beliefs that media was telling me, that doctors were telling me, and just accept that this is what happens as we get older? Or did I want to interrupt that and do what I know has worked for hundreds of thousands of my clients? This is my friend Allison. This is when I met her. Okay, Lori, she was like you. She gave me a list of every reason why her weight was different. In fact, Allison had gastric bypass surgery years ago. And guess what? She gained it all back. You know why? Because we hadn't fixed this part yet. We hadn't fixed her vision. What was so unique, though, is Allison was so successful in every other area of her life. She crushes it financially and business. She's got a great boyfriend right now. Great things in her life, but she was failing herself in her weight. So we had to force the vision. She thought I was whack-a-noodle. What do you mean to force the vision? Look at Allison now. Look at her. She's gorgeous, Slim. Look at this. We had to force the vision first. So yes, I know I'm going hard on this today with you, and there's a method to my madness, but this is so important. This is the most important part. We've got to start looking at forcing the vision. We've got to look at that. Okay, I'm going to be fully transparent with you all. Today, we're focusing on vision. I gave you some tools I hope that are going to help continue that, because I want you to take some time really thinking, what do I want? Tomorrow, before we start on nutrition, because I have a whole bunch of nutrition, a lot of information, but I'm going to start diving into something I call false assumed truths. I always say I kill fat for a living. Fat stands for false assumed truths. And those are those beliefs, like Lori just said, that we've been telling ourselves that are holding us back from massive success. So we're going to start that first tomorrow before we dive into nutrition, because we got to conquer those. Okay. Once we get nutrition down, I know there's going to be a lot of questions. So VIP, you are going to be lucky because you're going to be on with me after, and I'm going to answer all your nutrition questions with that too. Day 3, we're going to fast track into some workout stuff. And I'm not going to actually do workouts with you, but I'm going to talk to you about progression, intensity, what it means, why we get into the pain cycle, how to overcome that. Many of you are going to have everything you need from this week and be like, I got it. But I'm also going to, I'm just being real, because I'm not into this little like trickery, like I'm going to open up something and sell it. I'm being really real. I am going to open this whole week my Total Body Thrive registration for June. I am not on social media talking about it. I'm just here with you guys. If you know you want this at any time, you can fast track and sign up and grab your spot in Total Body Thrive, okay? I'm still teaching everything I'm teaching this week, but I wanted you to know that I am going to be offering that this whole week in June. And what that is we take what I'm teaching you each day and it gets expanded over weeks. So there's a lot more help. There's a lot more accountability. So just want to be upfront with you that is there. And if any of you at any point are like, I'm so in, this is resonating, and you know you want one of those spots, I want you to reach out to my team, go to the links, but grab your spot, because those do fill up fast. I do them twice a year. Okay. Before we wrap today and talk about tomorrow, I just want to take a couple quick questions, and then what we're going to do is turn it off and go to VIP, and I'm just going to take them here. But is there anyone on VIP right now that has a question that they feel would serve everybody on here, that other people are maybe stuck on too? Because I would love to, about anything we talked about today so far, about stepping into your vision and deciding what that is. Just raise your hand if there is. Let's see. Let me just scroll through. And then Sophie, Liana, Rachel, if you see anything in the Facebook group you think that I need to know, have attention to, let me know that. Lori, yes, you have another one? Yeah, go ahead and unmute. Whoops, I think you're still muted. You're muted, Lori, you got to unmute. There you are. Yeah.
How do I get started tomorrow? Do I clip out a photo of an old picture of me, or
nope.
do I?
Vision.
Okay.
So we don't go to old. I don't want to go to old. And that's what we all, because then we go back to that whole thing of the time, who I was, because different. I want you, what would be amazing, Lori, is grab a magazine or something and just whatever's appealing to you.
Okay.
Pull it out. Something that's like find somebody that's in their 50s, 60s that you're like, you know what? That's attractive. I want to look like that.
Got it.
Or I want to feel like that. That's how you would start. Great question.
That's perfect.
Thank you. Yes. Any other questions? Melissa, is that your hand up right there? Okay. Hi, Melissa. Go ahead. I'm going to unmute you. Go ahead. Hi.
Okay. You talked about like last year you hurt yourself. You did this, you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a history of accidents and other things. Like I've had a hysterectomy. Doesn't that change the way we lose weight?
Yes and no. Yes and no. This is good. Are you going to be on tomorrow, Melissa?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The first thing we're going to do tomorrow is dive into false assumed truths. And so I'm going to help you with that so much tomorrow. So, okay. First of all, yes, when things happen to us, hysterectomy, autoimmune, all the things, yes, it does change things. However, what we attach to it is what I call a false assumed truth. When a doctor says to you, you're having a hysterectomy, you're going to gain 20 pounds, that becomes a false assumed truth, because we start believing that that's the only possibility with that. When in the truth of the matter is there's people that have had a hysterectomy that they lost weight or they didn't gain the 20 pounds. So the first thing is you have to believe it's possible. So yes, there are some tweaks, and I'll go through that with diet and everything. But if we don't ever believe it's possible, we never get there. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. So just entertain that initial thought, because I'm going to go deeper on it. But I'll tell you, and I've got some people on here, which although I told them this is very basic today, what I'm doing, they've been through all my programs and they will tell you, Natalie kills more false assumed truths. We get through this. And just to give you something, Melissa, so you don't think I'm just crazy, or I showed you my picture in my 30s, but I have an autoimmune. I had massive 4 injuries last year. My dad died 49 of a heart attack. I've got cancer, heart disease, everything in my family, Alzheimer's, dementia, you name it. I have literally a textbook genetic of all the things that could go wrong. Okay. So I'm not just saying this to say it. I'm saying it because I've walked through a lot of this and I've helped countless women do this. I mean, when someone says, oh, you're in fitness, I'm like, I almost like cringe. I'm like, no, I'm so much more than fitness. It's not even that. I'm in the thing between our ears. I'm helping with that. So Melissa, you're going to love tomorrow because we're going to really knock that out and get deeper into nutrition. Okay. Get deep.
Okay,
We didn't even
perfect.
do nutrition day. We're going to get deep into that.
Okay.
I'm glad you're on.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Any other questions? And Liana, if you can hear me, or Sophie too, if there's anything on the Facebook you think I should address. I see Irma, let's take you. And then just a reminder, VIP, you guys are going to stay on when I end, by the way. I'll stop recording and I'm going to go more personal with you. So, but Irma, let me go ahead and take you right now real quick. Go ahead, Irma. Yeah. Hi.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is that I don't have an issue with, like, I don't have a problem with like dreaming and believing and focusing on something. It's just the action.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. I get it. I get it.
So it's like, I know, I mean, I read books, I can feel Tony Robbins and all them, you know.
Yeah.
Movie. I mean, I spent so much money on everything.
Okay. Yeah. I got
But
you.
it's just the doing. Like,
Yep.
I know I need to put my phone in the bathroom and,
Yeah.
when I hear the alarm to get up and go get it, you know, I know that, but I don't do it. So
Yep. I'll tell you. Yeah, because
because
obviously we have to do an action too, of course. Okay, so there's a couple things there, and this is going to help serve everybody. So there's 3 things that help with this. Okay, number 1 is your DCM, your driving core motivator. That's the thing I told you I go way deeper in Total Body Thrive. When we can get your actual why, the real driving core motivator, it focuses you into it. It spins you into action because it lights you up. I'm sure at times in your life, Irma, you did take massive action for something in your life. Maybe it's not related to your body, but there's something in your life you took massive action from. I'm sure there is. And if I dug deep enough, I would find that with you. The key is we have to get the right driving core motivator to get you into action. That's number 1. So that's going deeper on your why. Number 2, we have to enter in accountability. There's got to be accountability, whether that's with others, with yourself. If there's no accountability, it's very easy to slack and not take action. Number 3 is knowledge. We have to have the right knowledge. If knowledge feels painful, overwhelming, confusing, we're not going to take action. If it feels hard, we're not going to take action. So one of the reasons I'm promising to help simplify nutrition and to simplify the workouts and everything is because I want to make this simpler so it's not scary or hard to take action. Does that support you? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, before I end, and remember, VIP, you stay on because I've still got more for you. We're going to go deeper on questions. Tomorrow, make sure you come back tomorrow go back through your journal, what we did today, okay? Make sure you have, the more you can put into this, the better tomorrow is for you. So do more here. Go deeper here. I know I rushed through this quickly in an hour today. Go through here. Number 2, tomorrow we're going to start with what I call false assumed truths. We're going to go through like those excuses. So what I would love for you to do someplace on the back of your journal, don't do it on day 2 journal yet because you'll have access to that. Just on the back of this one on a piece of paper, I want you to start to write anything you think that might be a false assumed truth in your life, like anything that might be popping up, like I had a hysterectomy or my age. Just start generating that just so we have a list to work from tomorrow. Then we're going to go really deep into nutrition tomorrow. So I'm going to be really excited to talk with you about all of that. If you are not in VIP right now, you can still join VIP. My team is standing by to help you, which means you can get on the Zoom right now, ask more questions with me, and you have that access this week. But I'm going to sign off right now on Facebook. Zoom, you stay here, and I'm coming right back to you. I'm just going to disconnect Facebook. I will see you tomorrow. And I'm going to pause the recording here. Hang on. Stop recording. And you guys stay on. Okay, let's see. Stop recording right here.